Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Garcia, and I wanted my first video, my first podcast to be really good, but I have to start somewhere, and I have to start sometime. So I have a couple of notes I'll be looking at my phone here. But first of all, I want to welcome you to the new podcast of Walden's Pause and Reboot podcast. This is a space for people who work hard, care deeply, and carry responsibility, often in a quiet form. Today I want to talk about burnout, not the buzzword that we hear every day about people being burned out, right? I'm talking about the real one. But I want to ask you this question first, or I want to make this statement first. If you have ever looked at your life and thought, I should be able to handle this. Now I'm talking to a lot of school teachers here. I know a lot of school teachers because I'm a school teacher myself. I've been a school teacher for almost 14 years, and I can attest to what some of the school teachers are feeling. But you still feel exhausted. Well, this episode is for you. If you have ever felt I can handle this and the stress is just unbearable, or you feel like the world is on your shoulders and you want to scream and shout and cry, this episode is definitely for you. Now, who am I? I'm actually a this is going to be a raw video. There's no editing. I'm a student to become an LPC here in the next year or so. I will be finishing up my master's program. Now, I'm entering this program, or I entered this program because I want to help people. I want to be able to help teachers, school administrators, or just people in general who are completely burned out by this current situation that we have in the United States and maybe around the world too. Anyways, I'd like to explain a little bit of what is burnout. What exactly is burnout? Well, according to my notes that I'm going to be reading here, burnout isn't just being tired. It's emotional exhaustion, mental overload, a sense of numbness or detachment, feeling like even rest doesn't help. You ever woken up tired the following morning even though you felt you had a good sleep? Well, it's part of burnout. Burnout doesn't show up because you're weak. Many people think, oh, I didn't eat right, you're getting up in age, you're a weakling, or you just can't handle it. It shows up because you were strong for too long. Now, isn't this weird? How can you be strong for too long? Think about carrying, I don't know if many of you have ever carried something heavy, or like a purse, luggage, or even, for example, firewood. Even if it weighs 5 pounds, over the stretch of several miles, that becomes tired. Now imagine you walking through life with all of these responsibilities that you have to carry. Now, who does it touch? Who becomes, well, teachers are commonly affected, counselors, caregivers, builders, believe it or not, builders feel it, providers, people others depend on. The ones who don't quit when it's hard, the ones who keep showing up. You ever seen that one employee, or maybe you're that employee that no matter what, no matter how hard it is, you still continue to show up, even though you feel tired, you have a cold, you take an aspirin, you maybe take some sort of overnight medication for a cold and flu. So tomorrow you're still there. The system praises endurance, but rarely, check this out, rarely provides recovery. Now, you may get no days missed, and you may get like a small stipend of, I don't know, $400. I know for teachers it's $400 or $500, depending on the district. Wouldn't it be nice if they just told you, hey, you know what? Instead of giving you the $500, why don't you take 2 days off? And then you take advantage of it, right, and go to a retreat. So what happens eventually is the body and mind push back. And this is what burnout really is. I'm going to segue into what you may consider a different topic. Believe it or not, we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for the burnout. Why is that? Burnout actually can become pretty dangerous. Instead of saying this is too much, instead of us saying it's too much, I should stop, I should pause, we continue to push harder. It seems like we're almost there to show our peers that we can and we don't need to stop. Instead, you know what most people are asking questions about? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What am I possibly doing wrong? Am I lazy? That's what we tell ourselves. Am I lazy? Am I unmotivated? I've lost my edge, right? I should be grateful. But burnout isn't a character flaw. It's capacity issues. If you overload a truck or a train, let's take a train. I like the truck part. Trucks have limits. I own several trucks. I have a 2500 Ram diesel truck. But if I overload it, it squashes the back of my truck. It'll lower it. Eventually, it may even break it. You don't call that lazy if you break the truck, right? You recognize that the load is too heavy and unsustainable. But if a human can't carry the load, oh, he's weak, too lazy. Humans are no different, especially in cultures that connect. Worth equals productivity. Rest equals weakness. Slowing down equals failure. How many times have you heard the comments people make when you say, "Oh, I gotta go rest because the load has been heavy," and they'll say, "It's just weak, man. You need to suck it up and keep going." Eventually, burnout thrives where rest is treated as something you have to earn. Why do you have to earn some sort of rest? Years ago, I used to have a construction company, and I worked at crazy hours. But I worked crazy hours because I could. I didn't have a boss. It was my company, and when I would become tired, I just wanted to rest, and my body would just shut down. There was no you earned the rest. It was my body was telling me you have to rest. You can't just keep on going. And some of you are going to probably get angry or upset. I'm probably going to get some things in the comments. You don't need alcohol. Don't need none of that. Peace and quiet will help. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Peace and quiet. Now, I would want to hear from you all. What do y'all do to recover? Leave the comments in the bottom. I'm sorry, I have allergies and I'm in my workshop. I'll give you a tour of my workshop in a little bit. I'm working on some chairs, but I'll get into that. Don't want to get sidetracked. I'm going to use land and as a metaphor for what I'm going to talk about right now. On land, real land, you learn something important. This is interesting. I got friends of mine who plow and they grow grass, like I guess for hay baling, and I learned that if you don't let the land rest. And if you plant it year after year after year after year without resting, the soil becomes depleted and you can't fix it. You know what's crazy? I used to think that they had to work harder, but that's not the answer. They let it just be there. Weeds grow on it, they just leave it. The land has to rest, restore nutrients, and only time can provide that. We understand this instinctively with land. But when it comes to us, we ignore it ourselves. You don't need to quit your life. You don't need to disappear. You just need space, real space, to recover what has been depleted. I come to woodworking to help recover myself. I build beautiful pieces of furniture. And I'm not talking about this fancy furniture that you see in high-end stores. I'm talking about regular, outdoor, let me sit down and relax, a beverage, any type of beverage that you would like, or just to hear the birds. I have a question for you, and please leave it in the comments. How many of you enjoy a cup of coffee? Because there's a difference between drinking coffee and enjoying a cup of coffee. And I'm not talking about those lattes that they sell at these franchise stores. I'm talking about just a good coffee. You can drink it black, a little bit of cream, but really truly enjoy the flavor of coffee. Leave it in the comments. I had to learn the hard way. Today I enjoy a cup of coffee. I don't run around in my truck or my car going to work or going somewhere. I enjoy my cup of coffee in the morning before I go to work. 10, 15 minutes, those are mine. Sorry. I want to go into something called what we call Walden practice, the reframe. I'm reading my notes here, and it's something easy. I want you to replace I should be able to handle this with something needs to be adjusted here. That's it. There's no fixing, no judging, no noticing. Burnout is not, Burnout is information, not indictment. Don't fix anything. Adjust it. Let's get into some recovery. I shared with you what my recovery is. Now, recovery isn't necessarily rest. It's not a on and off switch either. It often starts with slower mornings, fewer commitments, one honest boundary, one quiet hour. I don't know about you guys, but when I get out of work and I get on my truck, I don't turn on the radio, I don't blast it. I just enjoy the quietness from all the noise. Sometimes recovery looks like working with your hands. Hey, if you like gardening, go do it. We are working on having a retreat here, hopefully in the next year, fully staffed, where you can go and perhaps build something with your hands at our wood shop. We'll guide you and everything will be fixed. Being outside, go outside, sit outside. Just do simple routines. If you ever had that urgency, I gotta go do this, just let go of it. Be natural. Go with the flow. Healing often happens quietly, without announcements. how many of you, how many of you have or believe you need to have some crazy, crazy way to refresh your body? I hear so many comments on the way home. I'll pick up a beverage, a cold one. But are you truly, truly resting or recovering? I don't know. I never found it like that. My recovery is Tai Chi, woodworking, landscaping, and I've got the crazy idea. Also want to, I want to grow bees. I want to farm bees, I guess is what you would say, on this retreat that we want to do. Why do we want to do this? I've seen too many colleagues just completely shut down. They're having a hard time. I want to close out with this. If burnout has been weighing you down, I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're responding normally to prolonged strain. Slowing down, believe it or not, doesn't mean you've been giving up. It means you're choosing longevity. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, pause and reboot. And if you want to see some of my projects, you can go to my other channel, I Love to Build. Okay? Anyways, have yourself a good one.